Welcome back. An Israeli airstrike on a house in Gaza's southernmost city has killed at least 9 people. The strike hit a residential building in the western Tel Sultan neighborhood of the city of Rafah. According to hospital officials, those killed include 6 children, 2 women, and a man. Smoke could be seen rising over the Gaza Strip from the Israel-Gaza border on Saturday. Now, since Hamas's invasion of Israel on October 7th, more than 33,000 Palestinians have been killed in Gaza. Meantime, there has been a muted response from Tehran so far over Israeli airstrikes, and that's left many wondering if this could be a sign of de-escalation. Iranian officials gave no immediate indication of plans to retaliate after Israel launched a drone strike over Isfahan on Friday. Now, fears of escalation rose last week when Israel was hit with an unprecedented attack involving hundreds of drones. That followed an attack on the Iranian embassy in Syria that killed nearly a dozen people, including 2 generals. World leaders are calling for restraint. And for more on the conflict in the Middle East, we are joined live this morning by retired Major-General Denis Thompson, a former force commander of the Multinational Force and Observers International Peacekeeping Force. Thank you for your time this morning. And so I want to get your reaction to what we have seen and we've been witnessing transpire over the last 48 hours and how much of a chance that we could see a bit of a lull that with what's going on over the last week.
Well, good morning, Michaela. First off, I think we should deal with the Israeli-Iran issue first. And in that particular case, we're not certain if the alleged attack by Israel, because of course they haven't claimed responsibility for it on the city of Isfahan or the military facilities that are there, is them tying off this particular exchange between themselves and Iran and the end of that potential escalatory cycle. It's possible that it is. However, the right wing of the Israeli cabinet is still clamoring for a larger hit against Iran. I think that saner heads will prevail, and that may well be the end of it. What's interesting, of course, is that it's been cited as a drone attack. It is 1,500 kilometers from Israel to Isfahan, to that part of Iran, and perhaps the signal here is Iran better sit up and pay attention because, of course, this is deep inside their country, and Israel is telling them that they can touch them anywhere they wish if they want to continue this escalatory cycle. So I think that may well be over, but we'll see in the fullness of time. With respect to Gaza, Mr. Netanyahu's desire to go into and clear out the Rafah city is quite problematic. I think has been reported previously and frequently. There are up to 1.4 million internally displaced Gazans inside of the Rafah city. They will be in harm's way, of course, if Israel goes in the same heavy-handed fashion that they did in Gaza City and in Khan Yunis. They've actually told them that they should move to an area of the Gaza Strip called Al Mawasi, which is to the west of Khan Yunis on the coast of the Mediterranean, but it's only 8.5 square kilometers, and it's clearly not a practical location to move 1.4 million people in a hurry. So it's not a good look for Israel. I'm not entirely convinced that they're ready to go in just yet because we're on the cusp of Passover at this point in time.
Yeah, leading up to Passover and then prior to, when we take a look at what was taking place during Ramadan, when there were trying to be talks of some sort of ceasefire. What do you make of conversations now when it comes to potential ceasefire, given what has been transpiring in Rafah?
Right. Well, Mr. Blinken, the U.S. Secretary of State, is claiming that the ball is in Hamas's court and that they're the ones that are currently holding up a ceasefire agreement. The offer on the table is apparently a ceasefire or a pause, if you will, of 6 weeks in exchange for hostages and, of course, Palestinian prisoners that Israel holds. What Hamas is looking for apparently is a full ceasefire and the withdrawal of Israel from the Gaza Strip. So the two of them are frozen in their positions, and it's unlikely that we're going to see any resolution in the short term. And I believe that Israel's strategy here is, okay, if you're not going to play ball or you're not going to concede some more ground in this particular negotiation, we'll put pressure on Rafah. But I think what they're missing here is that the the narrative, their image in the international community is in absolute tatters as a result of the tactics that they're using internal to Gaza.
Okay, we'll have to leave it there. Retired Major General Denis Thompson, thank you for your time this morning. We appreciate it.
Okay, take care, Michaela.